How many days have you let slip through your fingers without even realizing it? He wakes up, spends all his time stalling, distracting himself with his cell phone, and when he realizes, the day was over. Again. And what has changed? Nothing. But here's the truth that no one has the courage to tell you: either you move, or time will swallow you alive. You say you're waiting for the right moment, but the right time is now. Because every day is a chance. Every second that passes does not come back. What you build today will be what you reap tomorrow. But while you hesitate, there is someone, right now, doing what needs to be done, even if you don't feel like it, even if you're afraid. And that person is moving forward while you stand still. This is not just another motivational speech. This is a warning. A call to those who are tired of promising to themselves and never delivering. If you want to transform your life, start taking action and stop sabotaging yourself. Stay until the end. Because after today, you won't be able to use the same excuses anymore. Shall we get started? Time is the most valuable currency you have, and, ironically, it's the most wasted. Many people treat the day as if they had an infinite balance of hours, as if they could pause life and press play whenever they wanted. But the clock doesn't stop. Every choice now is either an investment or a waste. And, unlike money, time is not refunded. Have you ever noticed how an innocent scroll on your cell phone becomes a wasted hour, or how "I am just going to rest for 5 minutes" sinks you in 3 consecutive episodes in the series? It's not about being radical and becoming a productive robot, it's about gaining awareness. Do a simple test: write down for 2 days what you do every hour. You'll be surprised at where you're throwing your future away. To start using your time better, set focus blocks in your day. It can be 25 minutes of action with 5 minutes of pause, the famous Pomodoro technique. Set an alarm, eliminate distractions, and compromise. You don't have to do everything today, but you do need to do something. 1 step a day, even a small one, takes you further than 1,000 intentions left for tomorrow. Distractions today are disguised as well-deserved breaks. A video here, a notification there, a peek at the networks. And that's it, another postponed project. The problem is not relaxing, it's when it becomes an automatic habit, a subtle escape from what really matters. Distraction has become the most acceptable excuse of our generation. And the excuse is, "Oh, these are professionals. I'm tired, it's not the right time, Monday'll start." Sound familiar? The human mind is a master at creating convincing justifications to avoid the discomfort of progress. After all, growing up hurts. Change requires effort. And the brain prefers the comfort zone even if it means living below its potential. Do you want to break this cycle? Start by asking yourself the question that cuts through self-deception the most: does what I'm doing now bring me closer or further away from what I want? Be honest. Turn off notifications, leave your phone in another room, and use distraction blockers if you need to. You don't need to be motivated, you just need to be committed to your transformation. The truth that almost no one realizes is that the results do not come from big decisions, but from the repetition of small habits. It's what you do every day, without even realizing it, that is shaping your future. The problem is that the habit, when negative, also accumulates and takes a heavy toll. 1 wrong choice a day seems harmless, until it becomes a lifestyle. Think with me: brushing your teeth once doesn't solve it, but brushing every day avoids future problems. The same goes for reading, exercises, organization, study. 1 chapter a day seems little, but at the end of the year there are 12 books read. A 20-minute workout a day is better than a whole month of standing still waiting for the ideal moment. The habit is invisible at first, but it screams in the results. Want to know if your habits are building you or destroying you? Observe your routine without filters. List your automatic behaviors and evaluate: does it bring me closer to what I want to be? If the answer is no, change them one at a time. 1 new habit a week is revolution enough. It's not about starting out perfect, it's about starting consistently. Don't underestimate what seems too small. 1 drop alone does not fill the glass, but thousands, with constancy, overflow. The same is true of daily actions. They seem insignificant at first, but over time they build up something great. The secret is in repetition. What you do every day is worth more than what you do once in a while. You don't have to become a productivity machine. Just repeat a positive action every day. Write, read, practice, save, train, studied it even if it seems little, it is being registered in your brain as progress. Small habits make big changes not because they're intense, but because they're persistent. The silent progress is what surprises the most. That if today you feel that you are far from what you want, try to look at what you repeat. How about starting with 10 minutes a day of something important for your goal, a walk, a book page, a study audio. The impact of a brick is small, but of an entire wall, it's another story. And walls are made of bricks placed every day. I have time, am still young. This phrase is one of the greatest poisons disguised as comfort. The illusion that time is left over makes many people postpone what matters until they realize that the clock has run and is not coming back. Time seems slow when we're distracted, but it's relentless when we look back and realize what we could have done. The truth is that no one knows how much time he has. And even if you have many years ahead of you, what you do with them is what determines what you harvest. The problem is not having little time, it's wasting the time you have. Postponing decisions, pushing responsibilities, pretending that tomorrow will be easier. All of this adds up. And down the road, enough time becomes wasted time. Want to get out of this trap? Start treating each day as if it were the only day you have to plant. Use a planner, set priorities, and cut the excess. Remember, you may not have time for everything, but you always have time for what is essential. And life changes when you stop waiting for the right time and start making time work in your favor. Every day, consciously or not, you make a decision: you will move forward or you will stand still. There is no neutrality when it comes to personal evolution. Either you are building it, or you are putting it off. The problem is that stagnation disguises itself as rest. Today didn't work, just one more day. And so, time passes and nothing changes. Moving forward does not mean taking giant leaps. Sometimes, it's just getting up and fulfilling what you set out to do, even if you're not 100 motivated. It's answering emails, studying for 30 minutes, continuing that project. These are small decisions that, added together, change the course of your story. And to stagnate is the opposite. It is to justify, to postpone, to get lost in a cycle of "I'll see later." Want to turn the tide? Ask yourself early on, what can I do today that brings me closer to my goal? It may be something simple, but it needs to be done. Because at the end of the day, your future is being shaped by the choices you make now. And yes, deciding to move forward is a decision that is renewed every day. Have you ever noticed how Chinese bamboo takes years to grow noticeably, but when it does, it shoots up meters in a few weeks? All the while, he was putting down deep roots. Consistency works the same way. It seems invisible, silent, and even useless at first, but it is what underpins any lasting transformation. The problem is that we live in an immediatist world. We want quick results, instant rewards, praise on the first effort. But the real change happens in the dark, when no one is watching, and you go anyway. It is the solitary training, the daily reading, the no said to distraction. Consistency is what gives you authority, firmness, and stability. Don't be discouraged if no one notices what you're doing. Continue even without applause. The fruits come to those who plant with discipline. Want a practical example? Start by recording small habits in a notebook: drinking water, training, studies, goals. When you look back after a month, you'll see that your constancy has already built a stronger foundation than you imagine. Procrastination doesn't start big. She infiltrates quietly, with phrases such as "just 5 more minutes, then I'll do it, tomorrow it'll start." The problem is that these small postponements turn into habits. And when you realize it, you're stuck in a cycle where postponing has become the rule and performing has become the exception. This cycle is treacherous because it offers momentary relief. You feel good about avoiding the uncomfortable task. But soon after, comes the guilt, the frustration, the weight of what was not done. And the worst, this further fuels the desire to postpone. It's like a mental loop. The more you procrastinate, the harder it gets to get out of place. And time, this one, doesn't stop to wait for you. Getting out of this cycle begins by recognizing when it begins. Create action triggers: a specific song, a workplace, a fixed time. Start small. If you're going to study, commit to 10 minutes. That's all. The initial move breaks the resistance, and little by little, you reprogram your brain to act, not to postpone. Because the sooner you move, the sooner you harvest. Your brain has a clear mission to keep you safe. And, for him, everything that requires effort, risk or discomfort sounds like a threat. That's why, when it's time to start something important, thoughts like "you're tired, it's better to do this when you have more time, it won't work anyway. It seems true, but they are just excuses camouflaged in logic. These self-justifications do not appear as sabotage. They come up as good ideas. The brain rationalizes postponement as if it were a smart strategy, but in practice, it's a sophisticated way to get away from the challenge. And when this becomes a habit, you start to believe that you are not ready, that you have no energy, that it is not the time. All this without realizing that you are being manipulated by the fear of discomfort. The way out: question your own thoughts. When an excuse arises, ask, is this fact or is it fear in disguise? Then, act anyway. Action corrects the mental lie. A practical tip: have a list of small actions that you can do even if you are discouraged, such as opening the notebook, writing 3 sentences, walking for 10 minutes. Start, and your brain will align with the movement. Many people say that they do not move forward because they are not ready. But the truth is that, most of the time, it's not a lack of preparation, it's a lack of decision. The preparation, in practice, happens on the way. You don't have to be 100 ready to get started. You just need to decide and take the first step. Expecting to feel ready is an elegant way to postpone. Think about when you learned to drive, for example. You didn't know everything beforehand. You learned by making mistakes, testing, practicing. With life projects, business, changes in habits, it's the same. Whoever decides first, learns by doing. And who expects to be completely prepared, often never starts. Because the ready never arrives. If you feel like you're still far from your goal, ask yourself, am I really unprepared, or just avoiding deciding? Start with what you have. Use the available resources, even if they seem simple. The action reveals the necessary adjustments. And, contrary to what many people think, it is the decision that brings clarity, not the other way around. Everyone, at some point, has looked back and thought, if I had started back then, today I would already be there. And that hurts. Not because of the loss itself, but because of the awareness that it was our choice. Opportunities rarely knock on the door twice. Many come disguised as effort, and when we are not attentive, we let it pass thinking we still have time. This reflection is not to sink you into guilt, but to wake you up. The most bitter regret is not for the mistake made, but for the chance ignored. People, ideas, invitations, moments. All of this has an expiration date. And the longer you delay, the more doors close. Not because the world is cruel, but because time is fair. It rewards those who act. Want to avoid future regrets? Start today to treat every possibility as something valuable. Analyze it. Yes. Weigh the pros and cons. But don't paralyze. What seems small to you today may be what changes everything tomorrow. And if any door has closed, don't mourn too long. Lift your head and prepare for the next one. Because it will arrive. And you need to be on the move to achieve it. Few phrases have the power to sabotage as much as this one. Next year will start. It comes loaded with hope, but in practice, it is just an elegant postponement. The idea that a new cycle will bring magical motivation is a myth. If you don't start now with what you have, next year will be just another repeat of the current one with new unfulfilled promises. The problem is that this phrase seems harmless. After all, planning is important, isn't it? Yes. But planning without action is fantasy. It's like buying books and never opening them. Having good intentions doesn't transform lives. Decisions do. The next year is a comfortable place where change is always one step away. But never within reach. Want to get out of this trap? Break the pattern now. Set a short-term goal, something you can start today, even if it's symbolic. A journey, a book chapter, a goal written on paper. The secret is in the movement, not in the calendar. Because the real new year begins when you decide to turn the page, and not wait for the next January. Those who really advance in life are not the most intelligent, nor the most prepared. They are the ones who act even without a guarantee of success. While many wait for the perfect circumstance, they go with what they have, make adjustments along the way, and create the opportunities that others spend their lives waiting for. They don't stand still because they're not sure. They move, and certainty comes later. The difference is in the behavior. They are afraid, yes. They have doubts, of course. But they don't let that define their attitudes. They understand that consistency beats talent when talent doesn't act. And that a practical decision, even a simple one, is worth more than 1,000 ideas stored in the head. They are ordinary people with unusual courage to continue. If you want to get into this group, stop romanticizing preparation and start executing. Start where you are, with the resources you have. Replace one day you'll go with today I did it. What separates those who dream from those who achieve is not luck, nor gift, it is daily attitude. And this attitude is within the reach of anyone willing to act. Dreaming is important, it's where it all begins. But the problem is that many confuse dreams with plans, and plans with progress. To dream is to imagine. To act is to transform. What separates a dreamed life from a lived life is movement. Without action, the dream turns into frustration disguised as hope. How many people do you know who always have amazing ideas but never get out of place? They live in waiting mode, waiting for a divine sign, an external push, a perfect moment. Meanwhile, those who have smaller goals, but put them into practice, are reaping real results. Because action, even if imperfect, builds. The dream, without action, only deceives. Want to make your dreams come true? Take a pen and paper and write, what is the smallest possible step I can take today to get out of inertia? Then, go and do it. Turn the dream into a task. Make it something visible, concrete, measurable. And repeat this every day. Because in the end, what changes your story is not the size of your dream, it's how much you act for it. Imagine you are looking back 5 years from now and realizing that the only thing that stopped you from moving forward was your own hesitation. Repentance is silent at first, but over time it weighs heavily, and it weighs heavily. Not for what went wrong, but for everything you didn't even try. The what if is usually more painful than the I failed trying. The future does not demand perfection. It demands responsibility. And it always arrives faster than it looks. When you fail to act today, you are making a silent agreement with tomorrow's regret. And this is not drama, it is reality. How many opportunities, friendships, projects, and changes have been lost simply because you didn't decide to move? The good news, there is still time. As long as there is life, there is chance. The future is still being written, and every choice today is a comma in this text. Do you want to avoid this weight later on? Do today what your future self will thank you for. Even if it start small. Because at the end of the day, the biggest relief isn't that it worked out, it's knowing that you gave it your all. Life goes on. Time is ticking. Opportunities come and go. And the world, with all its haste, will not stop to wait for those who are undecided. It may seem harsh, but it's true. Those who hesitate too much end up being left behind. Not because it is less capable, but because it was slower to act. While you ponder, question, plan too much, someone is out there trying, making mistakes, adjusting and evolving. Success isn't just reserved for the most talented, it's available to the most decisive. The world rewards those who act, those who take risks, those who say I'm going to do it and actually do it. There is no guaranteed space for those who live eternally in analyze mode. Want to be part of the game? Start taking action before you feel 100 ready. Start with doubts. Really afraid. Action generates movement, and movement positions you. Because when you hesitate, someone else takes up the space. And as you move forward, life starts to take you more seriously. Taking action now is a decision that no one can make for you. It does not depend on the boss, motivation, free time, or the alignment of the planets. It's a personal choice. And, like any choice, it has a price, the discomfort of getting out of inertia. But it also has a reward, the real construction of your future. One step at a time. Waiting for the ideal moment is a comfortable illusion. The truth is that the best time to start was yesterday. The second best, today. Don't underestimate the power of an immediate decision. Starting something simple now, sending that message, opening that document, taking the first step is what takes you out of the realm of intention and puts you in the realm of achievement. Want to see your life change? Tell yourself, I choose to act now. And do it. Even if it's something small. Because the difference between those who transform their own history and those who live on plans is this: one decided to start before he felt ready. And maybe that's exactly what you need to do today. No one will live their life for you. No matter how much they love you, support you, or guide you, at the end of the day, your future is your responsibility. And the sooner you assume this, the sooner you'll stop blaming the government, the past, parents, or luck. What you build from now on depends directly on your choices. Of course, there are external factors, but they do not cancel out your decision-making power. People with fewer resources went further because they decided to act with what they had. Meanwhile, many with all conditions continue to wait for a miracle that never comes. Responsibility is freedom when you understand that you are in control. You are no longer a hostage to circumstances. Do you want to have a different life? Get behind the wheel. Ask yourself daily, what can I do today that honors the future I want to live in? Stop outsourcing blame and start centralizing solutions. You don't control everything, but you control much more than you realize. And that's enough to transform the course of your journey. Think of your life as a construct. Every day is a brick. And the big question is, are you building a castle? Or just piling up rubble? What you do today is not neutral, it is part of a work. Your habits, attitudes, and decisions are, day after day, shaping something that it can be the life of your dreams or the reflection of your excuses. The truth is that most people only realize what they are building when the structure is ready. They look back and see that, for a long time, they built walls that they didn't want. All because they treated the days as disposable. But time is cement. What you do now hardens later. And then, either you inhabit a solid place or you get stuck in a maze of regrets. Want to make sure you're building something valuable? Choose a habit today that represents what you want to live tomorrow. A training, a prayer, a study, a new contact. Something that reflects the life you want to inhabit. Because the future does not appear out of nowhere, it is assembled, day after day, by those who decided to build with purpose. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow does not yet exist. The only time you really have is now. And what you do with this one now changes everything. It sounds cliche, but it is one of the most ignored truths in life. The greatest transformations begin with a decision made in the present. It's not about when you're going to act, it's about when you're going to stop putting it off. You don't have to wait for Monday, next month, or the turn of the year. The best time to start will always be this now. Every minute that passes without action is a buried opportunity. And you weren't made to live pushing dreams with your belly. You were made to build, evolve, leave a mark. And all of this starts with a simple attitude: act. So, if you're reading this, consider the moment as a calling. Not to change everything at once, but to start. Point one step, one choice, one action. Now. Because in the end, the only thing that separates those who live what they want from those who only want. That's what it does in the present. And the gift is all you really have. Now that you've come this far, answer honestly, what will change after this reading? Are you going to close this page and go back to your usual routine, or are you going to use this content as a turning point? Because, deep down, you already know what you need to do. The question is, will it continue to postpone, or will it start now? Reread the topics whenever you need a reminder. Write down what marked you the most. Turn that inspiration into practice. Because what you learn today isn't meant to entertain you, it's meant to wake you up. And life rewards those who have the courage to get out of the spectator mode and assume the main role of the story itself. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share it with someone who needs that push. Let's together create a generation that chooses to act, and not just dream. Because, at the end of the day, every day counts. And yours starts now.